Moved. Because all three commissioners are present, we don't have to do roll call, so all three commissioners present have voted in favor. So what I'd like to make a motion first is actually to take two items out of order because our legal counsel needs to leave for a personal matter. So I wanted to first, so I wanted to make a motion to take the change of manager for Deja-VU and then followed up with the new business for Deja-VU out of order. Can I get a second?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All three commissioners present have voted in favor. So our first item is change of manager for Acemar Leasing LLC, doing business as Deja-VU NightSpot for High Street. This was a continuation from August 1st and August 21st, and this is for the change of manager.
And I am going to recuse myself for this matter.
And for the record, I'm Assistant City Solicitor Tashina Davis, and I'm going to stand in for Ms. Masonette.
Thank you. To clarify things, I think this is just to add an additional manager to the business.
The term we use, though, is change of manager, because the management's changing, but I understand, yes. Understand. So at the last meeting, there were two items introduced at the license board meeting that were also sent off to Deja-VU, which was a video provided by the Holyoke Police Department and a redacted narrative by Sergeant Reardon. And so we wanted to give the licensee time to read over that before continuing with our meeting.
So we'll have a chance tonight to look at it.
They should have received it.
You haven't received
should have
it?
received that.
Oh, no, we never received that narrative, no. And in fact, I've talked to other law enforcement. I can't get that. I wasn't able to get that.
Yeah, we sent a redacted copy.
To whom did you send it to?
I didn't send it, but it should have been sent to you as the attorney.
I don't believe I received it.
Want me to go get Alex?
No, I got it.
You want me to get? Okay.
So we're gonna have to take a pause for a minute.
Thank you. Rather than wait, could we just see what you have and we can pass it off and maybe adjourn?
I just want to wait till the city assistant solicitor comes back. But I have no issue with it, but we may need to, because we're supposed to give you time, we may need to push this off another time. I'm not sure yet.
Thank you.
So Ms. Masonette sent the redacted narrative on August 27th, and I believe one of our commissioners showed you the video the night you guys were here.
We do have we were kind enough for Mr. Moriarty to see the video.
And Ms. Masonette said she emailed it to you as the attorney, only to the attorney, on August 27th.
All right. I'll try to find that in my email if you want to pass it. Could we look at that document?
It's a redacted copy.
Can I see that? Is it? No, you can see through it. No, because the copy I sent was a PDF version, that this one, you can, if you look up, you can see the words through it. The one I sent was a PDF that couldn't be altered or anything like that, so, maybe she can resend it.
It's not the back, because I did two-sided printing.
It's all the words, you can see all the words,
No,
right?
see right here? See what
Yeah,
you
but
see?
I'd rather not take the chance.
Okay, okay.
Would you like to see if Ms. Masonette can forward it to you now? Do you have
That'd be
access to your
fine.
email?
Step aside and second call on this if that's possible.
Hold on, I'll have her forward it to you now.
Thank you. We'll stand by. Thank you.
That was the president of this change in case, maybe?
No, it's okay.
No, I want to show you the PDF version, because I complete my
The PDF version.
I forwarded other things to her. She had sent that just a few days ago, right? Oh, you know what? You're right, it's what was in our packet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's within the packet. But it's regular packet. It's legible. So that PDF, the PDF that was originally
So
sent.
look at the bottom paragraph, because that's where there's no page on the back. I don't see any letters.
I got no page on the back, and I can read it.
You can read it? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's,
This one is blank in the other side. You can read it.
oh, you can see through his, but I don't think you can see through mine. Yeah, well, I printed this on my printer at home.
Well, the president of changing the meeting today was for him to read
Provided
this.
to us yesterday. Yeah, that was sent to all of us yesterday in advance of the meeting packet in one PDF. So that can be pulled back.
Yeah, you can see it.
Right. Okay.
Until you verify.
There's
Okay,
certain copies are not properly redacted. You're welcome to take that, and that one is properly redacted.
You're welcome to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to turn that one over.
Yeah, you can give this. It's gonna be different, if you wanna give this to them today or, yeah. Yeah, I should have it in my packet. Sorry about the delay, we'll be starting in a couple minutes. We just have a little issue with a redacted statement from the Holyoke Police Department that seems to have bled through what was redacted. So, just little technical difficulties. Were those copies in the packet or from?
In the packet.
They were in the packet, okay, I gotta find them, okay, because I had my personal copy, not this one.
Just what you can see, the PDF version is different than what you can see in shape of Word. That's
And in the PDF version, you could see the letters?
clearly,
Wow.
That's the version that was sent in your packet.
sent as a PDF, I don't pack it as a PDF.
Oh, because Alex scans it as a PDF.
I don't know if the backlight picked it up or something,
Okay.
but the photocopies here are, yeah, properly eliminated.
We've never done it before.
This is not the first.
These probably one of the first ones.
So, are they gonna? Okay, so should we just continue with another item? Yeah, I think
Do
that
the
makes
public
sense.
hearings.
Yeah, let's do our public hearings. So we're gonna continue with them in a few minutes, but we're gonna move on and start we have 3 public hearings to do. And the way it goes is we do the public hearings, open and close them, and then we are back in the regular meeting and we vote on the items. So during the public hearings, we don't vote, only when we're back in the regular meeting. So I wanna make a motion to, open a public hearing for a transfer of license for F&M Hideway, Inc., doing business as Schermerhorn Seafood Restaurant and Schermerhorn's at 224 Westfield Road. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. So,
This is a transfer, Schermerhorn's, there's new owners purchasing the property and the liquor license. From the description of premise they put on the application, nothing changes. It's gonna remain the same. Fitzgerald's will continue to be the pizza restaurant, and Schermerhorn's will continue to be the package store for beer and wine. The application is in front of you. One of them is for off-premise, and the other one is for on-premise.
is there anyone here for that transfer? Well, thanks for coming in.
My name is Frank Demaritis, and I believe my attorney Frank is online. But Frank can answer any questions, or I'm willing to answer any questions.
And Frank, you're representing the buyer?
Yes, the buyer, Hideway, yes.
Okay.
My name is Paul Longton, and I am an abutter to the property where Schermerhorn is located at 224 Westfield Road. I submitted a letter earlier today with the concerns that I had, and I am here to answer any questions.
Okay, we're gonna ask if the public is for or against it, and then that would be your time to speak.
Do you mute him for now?
No, he can mute himself.
So, did you give, yeah, so do you have a, I reviewed this earlier today, so I
The only questions I usually ask is about your manager's experience of who you have as a, who, and that they're, what training they have. That's basically the questions I usually ask.
My manager is Vito Damaris. He's my brother. We took this opportunity to bring him on board. He'll be working at the facility about 40 hours a week. He did work in the restaurant industry in his past, but he is going to be more of a manager and not necessarily a bartender. He's tip certified. He is here with us if you have any specific questions for him. We are going to operate the facility the same as it's been operating for 100 years. We might make some minor modifications to it to make some of our own personal changes, just inside, decorative, whatnot, and new floors, new paint, and things like that, but keep it exactly the way it's operating as it is today. We look forward to acquiring the property and the business, and we've met other businesses in Westfield, and we support the community in many different ways, and we're going to be very responsible. It's not going to change very much. It's a very, fish and chips with a glass of wine. We're not intending to have any hardcore bar there or anything like that, so we really want to maintain the operation that's been there for 100 years and continue for another 100 years for the history of Schermerhorn's.
Great, thank you. Just one second. For this letter, do we have to read this letter into the record? It's really long.
Yeah, or the abutter can speak when he
Okay,
is
so let's
present.
do that.
Yeah.
Have the other commissioners received, there was a letter from, do you have copies? Or?
I have
Hold
not
on.
seen it, but I know.
Hold on, it just came in today. I just got it before the meeting. So this was a letter from the owner of the so the owner of the plaza next to you submitted a letter today to the board voicing his concern because he currently doesn't have an agreement with you for the parking in his plaza.
We're going to work with the abutter. We're going to add our own driveway, so we don't need his property.
And then, maybe I'll just read the concerns, just because you can see it's a lengthy letter, so I'll just read the concerns. In the absence of any agreement, I'll go back. I don't know if this affects the license transfer whatsoever, but I would like to know and ask the following questions. In the absence of an agreement or rights for use of parking and access from West Holyoke Plaza LLC being granted, how will parking, delivery, waste removal, and all other aspects of the ongoing business be accommodated and managed? You don't need to answer these, by the way, I'm just reading it to the record.
Thank you.
What changes or alterations to the building, envelope, and site plan might be required or contemplated, and are there going to be substantial changes or alterations to the current business model? So I can tell just by your application and the way you spoke, number 2 and 3, you're not making any changes.
No, if the changes that we're making, they're on the outside of the building, a curb cut and site work, and then nothing on the inside of the facility.
And my point of view, and I'll let the other commissioners speak, that for number 1, really doesn't have your agreement with someone for parking has nothing to do with the liquor license. And that's my position, and the other commissioners can speak on that.
I agree with you on that.
Okay. So, and the public? And so now, thank you. And now we're just going to open this up to anyone from the public that would like to speak for and against this transfer.
Thank you.
Yes, Paul Watson speaking, and I don't understand how you can say that the transfer of the license isn't relative to the parking and accessibility to the business. If that is the main and substantially, the only way people can get into and out of the parking lot and access the front entrance. I think the applicant just stated that he has intentions to make site revisions, a new driveway, and that requires a site plan review and all kinds of permitting. And I don't think that given that has been disclosed, that this license should be transferred without knowing what those revisions are. To say that you don't think that the licenses or the parking issues are relative to the license transfer, this doesn't make sense in terms of how the business operates and how it will operate in the future. So where will these people be parking and accessing the property? Whether or not there are changes made or not, how is that going to be accommodated now?
Do you have any comments?
That's a question for anybody.
So my general sense of this is that we are reviewing the fitness of this applicant to take a license based on their experience operating, or their experience or their capacity to operate a facility with liquor licenses of this kind. Annually, there's going to be reviews by the building department, there's going to be reviews by the fire department about access, egress, and everything else. So in the fullness of time, the bodies that are responsible for the kind of concerns you're raising will be reviewing them. Certainly, I'm confident that as this investment is made, this is being carefully considered to make sure operations can continue, and if there's an issue that the building department or the fire department is concerned about. But the issue, in my mind, that is before us today is outside the scope of those things. And so when we close the public hearing, it's time to vote, I'll be making my decision accordingly.
Great, I think that sums it, speaks, similar, I have a similar opinion, thank you. Jose?
Well, I think it's inappropriate. I think you're creating a very bad situation for people who are going to be going into that property or my property. I'm going to have to remove them, and I think it's a very unfortunate situation that's being created. And ultimately, I question whether or not any of the changes that may be required will ultimately be achievable without substantial reconfiguring of the existing building and premises. And I will certainly be, watchful and participating, make sure that they're done appropriately going forward.
Great. Well, thank you for speaking out. Anyone else here from the public that wants to speak for or against this transfer? So I'm gonna make a motion to close the hearing then, I guess.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. So the hearing for the transfer of license is closed. We vote after the hearing, just so you know. Should we just do all three hearings? So next we have I want to make a motion to open a hearing for a new seasonal all alcohol license for 66 Corporation, 56 Jackson Street. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners present voted in favor. So now we're in a hearing for 66 Corporation, new seasonal all alcohol license. And
So this is the new seasonal all alcohol license application. 56 Jackson Street is the Days Cannabis facility. I guess they put a wall in between the dispensary and made it's gonna be a private social club. They know it's a 50-50 chance that the state might not approve it. They are aware. But the attorney, Van Johnson, is online.
okay.
Yeah.
So I typically just have one question, and that's the experience. What is the experience of the manager that will be working in this business?
Good evening to the board. Again, my name is Van Johnson. With me is Heather Lozier, who is the proposed manager. She's here to answer any questions you may have. She has over 25 years experience in the business. She's been tip certified for 25 years. She has never had any complaints against her. But again, she's here to answer any questions you may have.
So just, my question is just for what experience does the manager have that's gonna be taking over the business and managing it?
Okay, I'll let her speak to that.
I have over 20 years in the hospitality bar industry. I've been tip certified for 20 plus years. Never had any violations or anything against me.
Great,
And I'm
thank
sure
you.
it's,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, that's perfect, thank you. you want to add anything?
Well, I mean, the elephant in the room is that it's a shared building with a cannabis facility. And so that's novel. I guess one thing I want to know is the ownership and operation of 66 Corporation, do they share ownership in any, or management in any way, shape, and form with the proprietors of the Days Cannabis that's in the same property?
No.
Okay, that is helpful. And do we have any, like, decisions from our law department or opinions available to us at this time about the legality locally, under our local ordinances, of a shared facility with a liquor license in one portion of a property and a cannabis facility? I'm neutral. I just want to make sure we're being lawful.
So in a way, we already have this in Holyoke, if you think about it.
Okay.
Fame is on the same property as two cannabis dispensaries.
But
The parking lot is the same.
But this is in one building. So what they did is, this is the room of the cannabis, they put up a wall, and then this is gonna be the bar now. It's all on the same floor.
I understand that, but
So it's
I'm
not
just,
like-
I know it's, but I see it as
There's no
something.
access from one business to the other.
Correct, two completely different buildings on Dwight Street. We got Fame, which is on one side of the plaza, the area, and then we have the two dispensaries on the other side.
I'm talking about this particular one.
No, this is all one building. Like I said, it's just a wall dividing the dispensary.
And
No access.
But he's asking, so the question Jose's asking is, can you, when you're inside the dispensary, can you get to the bar without leaving the building, or vice versa?
You would have to, so they are separated by a wall, and in order to get from the dispensary to the bar or vice versa, you have to walk out into a shared foyer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't, this thing.
so again, I mean, this isn't something I raised because it's like, this is automatically problematic. I think actually you've given a good example. There are some differences, though.
It's fine.
Different building, yeah.
They are actually, Fame is a tenant of one owner, because I happen to know all the parties involved. Canna Provisions and the Holyoke Cannabis are tenants of a different owner, but it is all on the former Beeb Holbert complex. It is one complex. So it's like, this is where nice legal questions have a way of coming up. And as long as there's nothing in our ordinances that says that's a problem, then I think it is a question for the ABCC. But I just want to know that.
And we did not receive a request in the law department for this particular property, so without like seeing the site plan or hearing how the building is split up as far as ownership of the whole building one owner, and then there's two different tenants, like,
No.
I have a couple of questions. So I'm not prepared to give a legal opinion off the cuff because I don't even know what the application looks like. But if you guys would like to request one right now, I can have one ready for the next meeting if you'd like me to.
Sounds good.
So what if we conduct the rest of the hearing and defer the vote till the October meeting when we can possibly have an opinion? Is that too soon?
No, that's fine.
Sounds fine.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak for or against this new license? So I want to make a motion to close the hearing for 66 Corporation. Can I get a second?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. And now our final hearing is gonna be a change of corporate name for Delaney House, Inc., One Country Club Road.
It's supposed to be Delaney Restaurant, Inc., so, Log Cabin, Delaney House, and the Suites Hotel. I believe they were on the June agenda for a transfer of license. The ABCC, returned it with no action, because I guess back in 2010, they merged Delaney Restaurant, Inc. with Log Cabin. So this has to be voted locally first, sent over to the ABCC. Once that gets approved, then I can resubmit the transfer paperwork. It doesn't require another hearing because we already had a hearing. We just never had a hearing for the change of corporate name. So this is just procedure. There is an attorney here. I don't know if you want to speak or if I covered the bases.
Hi, Don Abel, attorney from East Hampton, on behalf of Log Cabin. Log Cabin is the entity that we're filing under for the application. There were some changes. There's a transition made, and we've got some other hearings on the docket about some of the change in managers and change in officers. What we discovered was that Delaney, there was a corporation, Delaney Restaurant, Inc., operated by Peter Roscothen and Michael Kordoff, and 14 years ago in 2010, the two entities ended up with the exact identical ownership. They're on the, on the same prop. So they merged the entities. There are articles of merger, there were votes taken, articles of merger filed with the Secretary of State. For some reason, they failed to file with the ABCC to have that name recognized. So it's been out there for the last 14 years with the license having the reference to the Delaney Restaurant. So the Log Cabin Inc. is the corporate entity. The documents I've provided with you to show the unanimity of interest with the ownership control. Recently, we are looking at some changes made in the Log Cabin structure, and that's why we're here before you now. But it's mostly this application is to just clean up that errant mess that it was merged into one corporation. It just never failed. We failed to get it in front of you, and that's as simply as it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just by way of full disclosure, that 2010 transaction, I represented the partner who was leaving the entity at that time, which means I had nothing to do with the corporate structure after I left. So my conscience is clear on that. But also just as disclosure, I had some involvement with that 14 years ago with someone who hasn't been involved with the entity for 14 years. I don't feel that arises to a conflict, but it does, I think, call for a disclosure.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against this change of corporate name? No. So want to make a motion to close this hearing for change of corporate name for Delaney House Inc. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. So while we're here, should we just vote on these and then move on to change of manager?
And
You want to go back to change of manager right away? Okay.
And I also should point out, Councilor Bartley is here as well, who I think has other obligations later this evening. So if we could go out of order with the matter he's looking for as soon as we finish the change of manager, I'd request that.
Okay.
It's a little
It's
further
F&M
down.
Motors. Who's doing that one?
That's the old business. I think.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
This one. All right.
So the next item now, we're back to change of manager for Acemar Leasing LLC, doing business as Deja-VU NightSpot, 414 High Street. And this is continued from August 1st and August 21st.
Yep, and I'm gonna recuse myself.
And again, Assistant City Solicitor Tashina Davis, standing in for Ms. Masonette. So now the petitioners, licensees have had a chance to both view the video and look at the redacted narrative, correct?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
And frankly, we cannot go forward based on what we saw there. We're not prepared. And in fact, I don't know how you'd prosecute that claim either, because you don't have the officer who report for.
There's no prosecution here. I'd like to just make that clear. Let's not use words that don't have anything to do with this hearing. This hearing is in regards to a change of manager for a licensee. It has nothing to do with prosecution. There's no prosecution on the table. We're not prosecutors. We're not defense. We're not anything like that.
Well, I get prosecuting in the broad sense of the word, but I'll let that go. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but I can't go forward now. We cannot go forward. We just feel that we're in an awkward position based on that report, which I don't know if that's been seen by the state police. I don't know where they stand on it, and I don't know where the investigation stands.
Right, but the fact is that what you received has nothing to do with the investigation. It was redacted so that anything related to the investigation was taken out, and simply the actions of the proposed manager were left in that narrative. It has nothing to do with the investigation, but the actions of the proposed manager. If he's here to speak for himself, that would be great, but our commissioners are going to stand on the narrative of the Holyoke Police Department, and we're not going to have officers here to speak about an open investigation. We're not going to do that.
Well, there's some things there that I think I've got a right to, don't I have a right to cross-examine that individual for those statements made in the narrative?
But our commissioners have a right to stand on a police report or a police narrative. We aren't going to have, there's other issues that come into play when we have our officers come into a public hearing and speak about an active investigation. That's just not something we're willing to do for a liquor license.
Well, then in everybody's best interest, should we defer this matter for a later date?
That sounds fine to me. If the commissioners are okay with that, I'm okay with that as well.
What, wouldn't we either just vote for it or against it? Why are we deferring it?
That's up to the commissioners as well.
I don't see a need to defer it. Either we're gonna vote for it or against it. It's not, it's separate from the police investigation. It's a video and a redacted narrative that we need to decide on. There's no, for what we're doing today, we're not talking about a violation or charges. We're just deciding whether to approve the manager or not.
And to be clear, that narrative is based on a video that you've seen already as well.
Part of it is, part of it is. I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There's a lot of statements made there that I think deserve further inquiry on my part, and due diligence afforded my client. I think should be given a continuance.
So I have some general questions based on just the video itself.
Sure.
The proposed manager is seen in the video, I believe coming in and out multiple times,
2 times.
holding a bottle of beer.
2 times. He's not on the sidewalk.
I don't know. I saw the video.
He's not in the sidewalk.
He's what?
He's not in the sidewalk.
He's,
I think she said he's not on the sidewalk.
But he's the manager.
I don't,
He wasn't the manager on file.
it would be my
Okay.
opinion that especially an employee of an establishment shouldn't be outside the threshold with an open container, regardless of whether it's a little bit of your space prior to getting to the sidewalk. You're outside the threshold, and that's supposed to be a person setting the example for everyone else for this establishment, so it would be unacceptable.
It has to be unacceptable for
and
all of them then.
I'm okay if we wanted to take a motion today. Unless you feel we can discuss delaying.
It's here, it's before us. The purpose of delay would be to give counsel an opportunity to more fully explore and maybe speak with his clients outside of the short time they've
Which he
had now.
has received both the video, I do want to make that clear. He has received the video and the narrative prior to the meeting.
And that is.
So, but it's still up
Yeah,
to the commissioners.
that is a point duly noted. The other thing is, if this application were withdrawn at this time, is there anything to prevent them from submitting an application in the future?
There's not.
Okay. Then there would be no need for us to table if that's what the proponent chose to do.
We'll withdraw the application.
There you go.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, we're also gonna take that next one out of order, because you wanted to leave. So, I made that motion earlier. Should I make the motion again to take it out of order?
Please.
So it's a motion for, it's under new business, and it's also for Deja-VU NightSpot, 414 High Street. And it was to speak about the video and narrative that was, what?
Well, they just left.
They're not, it's not about, well, it's about us discussing whether to bring them in. Because it's the way we handle a regular, they
Oh.
could have stayed, I didn't tell them to leave.
Got it. But since they left, why don't we leave that in the ordinary business and get to it in due
Well,
time?
because
Oh,
She
we
has
need
to
the
leave.
council's advice on that?
I just, Alex has to recuse herself, so she won't be up here to handle that.
Understood.
But if you guys are okay to handle it on your own, you're more than welcome to do that.
If you're more
It's
comfortable
just
with
a
council, then I'm
discussion.
fine with taking
I would
that
like to
over.
have the council and take it out of order.
Okay, so second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. And this should really be quick.
Yep.
So it's just to discuss notifying the licensee to appear before the license board to discuss possible violations. And it was just for us to decide if we wanted to do that.
Yes.
Okay?
Move that motion, or move that notice be sent out.
Okay, second that? All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we're gonna wait a second for Alex to come back, and then we're gonna continue out of order.
And that's-
I'll make the motion for that one. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, I apologize for interrupting. I'm on 66 Corporation. Was there action taken, or did the board simply put a hold on that?
We,
No, we'll close the hearing.
we've closed the public hearing, but we haven't brought it up. We had a couple of situations where we took things out of order, but we will be getting to it in a few minutes. Should we just vote on these? I would rather just vote on them since they're quick.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so we're gonna jump back out of order, because we didn't make a motion on that. So, back in order, we're gonna do transfer of license for F&M Hideway, Inc., doing business as Schermerhorn Seafood Restaurant and Schermerhorn's 222 Westfield Road. So this is a transfer of license.
Move to approve.
Second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners present have voted in favor of that transfer. And now, new seasonal all alcohol license, 66 Corporation, 56 Jackson Street. So this is the one that
Right.
occupies both a cannabis facility and an alcohol. I personally would approve it today, but I hear there's some,
Yeah,
hesitation.
I do want to ensure the compliance with ordinances. The ABCC will determine anything having to do with statutory issues, so that can get in their hands in due time. So I would prefer to move to table to October pending formulation of opinion of city council.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second that, I'm a little concerned about this whole thing.
Okay, great. I'm gonna say all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna vote with that. So all three commissioners have voted in favor to table this. So we're gonna wait on our city Tashina, our city assistant solicitor, to give us a report back just on the legality of the space being shared. And that'll be in our October meeting.
October 2nd, yeah.
And now we have a change of corporate name for Delaney House, Inc. What's their name?
It's gonna be, this is merging to the log cabin.
Right.
It was already done through the secretary, now we
Right.
have to approve locally for the Delaney Restaurant Inc. to merge with the log cabin.
Got it.
banquet hall.
Move to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners have voted in change for the change of corporate name. So now I'm gonna,
So Don, now I'll send it over to the state this week, and as soon as we hear back from the state, we can go ahead and submit the other 3 applications for the transfer. Okay?
Okay.
and now I wanna make a motion, because Mr. Bartley has to go somewhere,
go
to
out
get
of
out of order for,
Number
Wait.
2 in old business.
for F&M Motors, 414 South Street. So, the only thing, Mr. Bartley, are you representing
Nope.
him legally?
Negative. I'm going to address, I'm just a city councilor.
Okay, so what normally happens then is the licensee comes up, it's not everybody. So if you want to get a chance to speak after, but
Well-
the licensee should speak first.
Sure. Mike, do you want to defer to me?
I would rather him speak instead of me. I'm not good at this. I get too nervous.
He's just writing him too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate your your forbearance on this. Mike and Dave, the two owners of the property, they're pretty reticent to speak in public. I've never done this, but I've done other things where I've been a city councilor and just try to advocate for my constituents. We went through 5 different things at the last meeting. I just want to update the board and the commission, let you know where we are. So let's do the simple one. The assessor field card, that's now been updated. So all the mailing that was going to 414 will go to Dave's house at 8 Crestwood. So that's done. Relative to the Board of Health issues, the cars are no longer on the left side of the house. It's all cleared out. Dozens and dozens of bags of trash have been cleared out. The Attorney Moriarty mentioned, and he gave a great idea, and they've taken it up on it. They've now registered with the BOH as a vacant building. So they're now going to work with the Board of Health on those issues relevant to that department. The July 18th letter from His Honor, I could see how that would trigger anybody, but the proper venue for those issues is the Board of Health. They've registered, they paid the $500 fee, they've met the criteria to register, so now they're moving forward with a plan. One of the most important things you raised was the back building, putting power to the back building. Jimmy Lavelle, the manager of the G&E, he sent a very detailed email explaining what has to happen. That email has been provided to his brother, the property owner. They have engaged the services of a licensed electrician who will be on site September 8th. September 8th. So Attorney Moriarty again said, emphasize that. So don't come back here without a plan. That is the plan. So Mr. Lavelle has laid it out concisely. I have the email, which I'll happily disclose that after the meeting if anybody wants it. The fourth thing we talked about, and I'm not going in any order, the word receivership was well, let me just go a step back to electrician. I did ask the administrative assistant for the criteria wherein the prerequisite was stated that any auto license vendor shall have electric powering their building. Now, I asked for the criteria for that, humbly. I haven't seen it myself. I just wanted to see it so I can read it and understand it. I've yet to receive an answer on that, but I did ask Alex for that criteria, and and that's pending.
To be up forward with you, I would expect every building that functions as part of a automotive business to have electricity. I don't think it needs to be written anywhere. I wouldn't, if a license came before us for a new business and it was made known to us that the business did not have electricity, I would not approve the license.
I'm not going to disagree with Mr. Chair, but the words were said that it was a prerequisite that was mandated. Those words were said. You can shake your head all you want, but those words were said, so I want to see it in writing.
So I'm telling you, for myself as a commissioner, it doesn't matter whether that's a written mandate or not. I wouldn't give a license to a business that didn't have electricity.
Fair point, but can you answer my comment? The words were said, either the criteria. I heard you.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter.
Okay, you feel it doesn't matter, and that's fine. But the words were said as a prerequisite. If in fact that's true, I want to see it in writing. I've scoured the earth. I haven't seen it. If it exists, please send it. But that's fine. I'll move on. The fifth thing we talked about, the word receivership was thrown out there. That is a pretty intense word, and I'm very grateful that I was here, especially when you're talking to lay people. Attorney Beauregard, who is their attorney, has sent a letter dated August 29th to the law department. So any words about receivership are going to be discussed between Attorney Beauregard and our law department. My constituent has a copy of the letter, but we're not at liberty to disclose it. It's a private letter at the moment. So I just want you to know that is in the works. So Mr. Beauregard's a lawyer. Bartley's just a counselor, okay? All right, hopefully that'll end that. The last one. This was a conundrum from day one, and I feel like I need to apologize, although it was a point of confusion. I've now clarified it. we've talked about how that is laid out on the GIS as one lot. And then when we look at the property deed, we see two separate lots. I spoke with the assessor at length. She did a great job. She hasn't provided to me yet, but she said there was a vote of the planning board in 1991 that approved an A&R plan to put them into one lot. That plan is not of record in the registry, so I can't blame Attorney Beauregard or his title examiner, Tommy Griffin. You can't possibly blame them for missing it, but it's on file at the assessors, and I will at some point get a copy of that. I just wanted to disclose that as well. So it is in fact one lot.
It's as far as if I look at any tax record or city maps, it's one lot today. So I don't, what is your point that it used to be two?
No, I said it was two because I was reading the property deed, which generally controls, there are two distinct lots on the property deed.
I read the property deed as well, yes.
But in terms of the actual lot, for municipal tax purposes, it is one contiguous lot because that was combined through a planning board vote in 1991. So that was just something as an FYI I need to disclose.
Okay.
So that's
I think
it.
we were all, because we actually had the deed in our package, so we were all made aware of that.
Right.
Okay.
And if I may, I also spoke in favor of using that as a guide, and I still see that as something potentially helpful. If you go back and look at the plans of record, historical plans of record, you can see a clear line that separates to the right and the left. If we need to make some sense out of where cars ought to be and ought not to be, that is an easy thing to determine and to say, stay on that side, don't go on that side. So to the extent that that is helpful to us to issue a license that makes this property cleaner and more manageable, that's a tool at our disposal. That's all. And I shared earlier those plans. Whether or not it's one or two parcels, I just think the ability to identify a nice straight line that tells you where you can be, that's to our benefit.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear up the gray area from last month about it saying it was two parcels, and
Right.
then after going to the assessors, I found the information. So I just wanted to bring you guys the correct information instead of us continue going by, it's two parcels.
That's right, it's a parcel.
It's one.
So my hope is that this will sort of put all these fears and to rest and allay them for now, to give them a little bit of distance to finish their work, and maybe they can go back in a few months. But this is now third meeting, and fourth meeting, plus multiple visits to BOH and the license board. I'm hopeful that this will kind of put it to rest for now. We didn't really talk about what the next steps were after we reported back, but I'll leave it to you to let us know what to do. And that's all I have to say on his behalf, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have some, I have some stuff to.
Go ahead first, yeah, no, I'm interested.
So, I'm happy to see the progress. However, if a new license came before us and it was on a property that had even if it was a registered vacant building, I don't feel it would reflect well on the license board to issue a license to that business, because the city doesn't really want to have vacant buildings unless they have to. It's just not something that we want. We'd rather have the buildings maintained and, taken care of. So I'm just wondering where the other commissioners would be if, just to start a conversation, if a new license came and on that property were vacant buildings, a vacant building.
That doesn't happen to be the case at this point in time.
Yeah, I'd separate that hypothetical out from where we're at with the simple distinction that if somebody were establishing a business, they are held to a higher standard. It's true with liquor licenses too. They have to show a floor plan, they have to meet everything for certificate of occupancy. That in an annual renewal is at a lower standard. And so this is somebody whose license was renewed without anybody raising this issue year after year after year going in the past. And that house has obviously been vacant for an extended period of time, which does not mean we should ignore it. But what it does mean is we have to take all the facts before us into consideration. One of them is this is an established business. This is this person's livelihood. Established livelihood, not trying to go into a new business, and I think that means something. Also, we are supposed to do what we can to make sure our licensees are obeying the ordinances, the laws of the Commonwealth, particularly as they pertain to this licensed business. Like if they were out there selling defective cars on a regular basis, not honoring their lemon law obligations or their warranties, that is like a whole other level, right, in an ongoing business. And that's not at all. Nobody said a thing about this whatsoever. Nobody's cast any aspersions on the quality of the business as a car dealership. That matters, I think. We would like, believe me, because I'm in the business here in Holyoke of trying to turn around vacant properties, I would like to see that house be a house, be somebody's home. There's a shortage of housing. Having a plan and turning that into a place that is an asset for everybody living nearby on South Street is absolutely a great goal. We as a license board have a certain amount of leverage because you got to follow the ordinances. And now you have. It's a registered vacant building. Are we satisfied with that? I don't love it. I don't love it. It's still a vacant building. That's not really. But one of the things about registering vacant buildings is that is supposed to put it on a list where the health department was ultimately the ones charged with overseeing vacant buildings after all. Supposed to monitor things over a period of time, and if nothing's happening, that's where receivership becomes a thing. The license board has no business with receiverships whatsoever. That's our city solicitor's office going to a housing court and taking a pretty drastic action that can ultimately cost the owner the ownership of their property to try to bring the thing to a resolution. We're a long way from that, and we're not the board that's going to do that. I think that's the distinction I see.
And so,
Yes.
I don't know who brought up the topic I certainly didn't bring up the topic of receivership.
Excuse me. So I did because I was giving them all the information that the Board of Health gave me. That wasn't something that I stated I was going to do. I stated the Board of Health forwarded to the legal department, and from my understanding, they stated it was going to be in the process of that. So I gave you guys all the information that was given to me. That's the first thing of receivership. Two, this property did have issues, I believe in 2022 or 2023. Well, he did come into the board and he operated off a 90-day temporary license until that property became up to par. So he has been in front of the board. I just wanted to clear that up. He has been in front of the board. He's also admitted to me he's not at the property. He barely goes to the property. He's months without visiting the property. So that's why he was having people break in and going into the cars, because he wasn't there. So I just want to state that.
When COVID hit, I wasn't there for like 20 days. My wife was deathly ill, and I spent like 20-something days at home taking care of her. And that's when the house got broken into, and it was a disaster. And I wasn't there because she was more of a priority to me than the rest of the world.
So for me, without a long-term, I understand your points and how you feel about the vacant property, but I'm still gonna stand by, I wouldn't issue a new license, and when the license was originally issued, I would assume the house was occupied and not vacant, and then became vacant through, whether it's over 20 years, it became vacant. I wanna stand by unless I really see a long-term solution for the house, whether that be rehabilitating it or knocking it down. I'm not comfortable having an active license on a property that.
Is the progress being made at this point in time in that side of the lot where his business is located with all the information that we have just received tonight? That's the way I see it.
So from the last meeting, the progress was I guess he registered as a vacant building. I haven't heard anything from Board of Health, so I can't confirm if that's true or not until I go into the Board of Health and confirm that tomorrow. But if that is correct, that is a step towards progress, is registering it as a vacant building.
I do recall receiving, or having been forwarded an email from Board Commissioner Rivers about the owner having gone to the health department as we had asked. We do have verification that occurred.
That he went, yes, but nothing was done when he went. And then, I don't know what happened at the Board of Health. From what Tim told me, there was really nothing much that happened. But I guess from there to now, that's when he registered as the vacant. But from that last email that I sent to you, I haven't got like an update that the building is registered. So I can't, confirm that right now.
Okay, when's the renewal up?
December 31st. So like I'm working on that. Renewals are going to be mailed out this month.
Okay, so because I take them at their word, we'll be thinking about things very, very differently if it turned out not to be the case. I'm taking at their word that they have registered, and knowing that we have independent confirmation that at least that direct contact with the health department happened. And finally, because I'm not hearing about any further complaints or requests for our intervention from the health department since last spring, I'm not prepared to impose any additional sanctions on the license at this time. At renewal time, I would expect to ask the question, what have you done between, and December 31st is when the renewal happens, but the vote we will take. Well, right.
December 31st. The renewal normally happens the month of November.
The month of November. So between now and November, like 60 days, if there were a good written overview about what we can expect to see happen next, that would be, that would influence my thinking about the renewal. So that would be a really good thing to do. Other than that, I don't see any further action indicated at this time.
What is your long-term plan for the house?
It's not my house, it's my brother's house. Go ahead.
He's, if I may, he's registered it. He's cleaned out dozens and dozens of bags of trash. Listen, that was his fault. Way beyond, I think, your purview, but since you brought it up, his plan is to either rehab it or rip it down. So those are your two plans, or the third plan is to sell it to somebody who wants to do one or the other. So that's a private matter of which I'm not involved with his thinking or decision-making. But the plan right now is that the building's secured, it complies with vacant building regulations, which I assume, since you're bringing it up, I assume you're familiar with those regulations. They're pretty darn clear. And while it's not a long statute, it's pretty intense. So he's registered the thing, paid his $500, done what he had to do. So, and that's good for 1 year. It doesn't mean you just let it sit there forever, although some people do, and they re-register it every year, a la Kmart Plaza, and they get away with it. I don't recall a letter like that from the mayor to anybody in Kmart Plaza coming to me. That's been sitting there for 40 years. But be that as it may.
You know what? There's not a license up for review. Let's stick with the topic, please.
Oh, the topic is the Board of Health, Mr. Commissioner. Which is beyond your purview. So I'm not even sure where you're going with that. But I would say that the plan is a plan from a private owner. He's done a lot of work. He's complied with everything relative to the vacant building ordinance. So now he's in there, and hopefully he can go in there with the Board of Health and figure out a plan. But when you get a letter like that from the mayor, that is, I hope you read that again, and I know you did. That is super intimidating letter, pretty hardcore, on a little house on a corner lot on South Street that, for whatever reason, triggered. And that's a health-related matter. Meanwhile, you've got 40 acres over there on Kmart Plaza. I know you don't want to talk about that, Mr. Chairman, but that goes by the board. Fine, that's the mayor's call. I'll deal with the mayor down the road. But that's it.
Thank you.
So with that,
So there's no, because you don't want to
have no
have any
motion to
action.
make,
You have no action to take?
Yeah. No.
Well, I know if I make a motion, no one's going to vote for it. So, I mean, I don't want to revoke the license, but I would have liked to see a clearer path as to what's going to happen to the house. That's all I wanted to see.
So hopefully that was heard, because I will also be taking that into account when the
Well,
question of renewal comes up, which is only 60 days from now. Just have a plan.
So, do you understand, so I was looking for that today. Commissioner Moriarty's looking for that in 60 days, that there is some type of plan for the house. Just so it's, I just like to reiterate so it's clear as to what the different commissioners are expecting.
Yep.
Commissioner Correa, do you wanna listen to anything you're expecting?
I'm excited with what Commissioner Moriarty is talking.
So you're looking for something in when the renewal comes up, you'll be looking for some progress?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because for me, based on the information that is being provided here tonight, some efforts are being done and some changes are beginning to happen with the section of his lot. Especially with the stuff with the
electrician.
Yeah, the electrician and all that kind of stuff. I'm willing to wait the 60 days.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're up, so wait, we jumped around a little. Now we're at the, we're here, right? Issuance? Yeah. So, issuance,
Transfer, yeah.
transfer of stock, new stockholder for Air-Dell Inc. doing business as the ClubHouse, 209A South Street.
So this item was on our agenda, I believe in June as well, for a transfer of license. It's going from dad to son. ABCC returned with no action. This has to get approved first, same thing kind of with the other entity. They need to transfer everything for all the paperwork, and then once this happens, then they'll transfer over the license. But this, the insurance transfer of stock and new stockholder, it needed a public hearing, so that's why he's on the agenda.
So is this the public hearing?
It needed to be, sorry, not a public hearing, it needed to be approved locally before I submit it over to the state. So I couldn't submit this change without local approving it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, motion to approve it?
Yeah.
Second it?
Yeah, and before we take the vote though, yes, I second it. Before we take the vote, so this is very similar to what we were looking at before with the Delaney house. This is technical stuff from something we had previously approved.
Right, and
Good. Okay.
like the ABCC is ready to vote on it. I've been communicating with the investigator, but due to policy and procedure,
Has
it
to be
needed
done
to
out here
be
first
on a
before-
public meeting and then sent over, because the LLC form has to reflect this like meeting. Yeah.
And you second it, all those in
He
favor?
seconded it.
All right.
Aye.
Aye, so moved, all three commissioners have voted in favor of this issuance transfer of stock. So now we're up to special one-day licenses, can we take them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wait, but these are alcohol, we usually
Yeah.
take them separate.
You could take them separate.
Yeah, we usually do them separate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I mean, I reviewed them all and I didn't have any issues. So, Cristina Gonzalez doing business as Camille Café, 116 High Street, and she had multiple ones, I remember.
8 applications in front of us. Some of them are for poetry night, some of them are for a brunch. It has been a great success for her business, so she submitted a few more applications.
Should I read the days into record?
You could.
September 8th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., 30 to 50 people. Oh yeah, and they're all beer and wine. And I noticed it didn't check sold. I assume it's selling.
Sorry. Yeah, the 8th one.
On the
Yep.
first one, she checked selling, but all
But
the
it
rest
is, yes, it is so, yeah.
So then September 22nd, 30 to 50 people, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. September 27th, 30 to 35 people, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. October 13th, 30 to 50 people, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 27th, 30 to 50 people, 10 to 5. And October 25th, 4 to 9, 30 to 35 people. All with beer and wine
And I'm not sure you mentioned September 8th. I didn't.
Oh,
hear
maybe I
the
missed that
first
one. Yeah, I don't. And September 8th.
September 8th.
And that's one where the alcohol.
Oh, you took it? September 8th, 10 to 5, 30 to 50 people.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that. Can I get a second?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And now we're up, next one is Jeremie Lapointe, 530 Main Street. This is for the haunted,
Demented FX, the haunted
Haunted
house
house.
that goes on every year.
Make a motion we approve.
so, just to give you some information, because I had a discussion with Alex, it is pending approval from the fire department.
So this business currently has a certificate of inspection, and he has to go through it every year because of, I guess, the business, and it's every level. From my understanding, by the fire department, he actually has a bar set up. So they require him to get a C of I, just like the alcohol holders. As of right now, he is current, but those expire pretty soon. So if we can approve it contingent to the C of I and insurance.
And it's for multiple days from October 4th through November 2nd.
Yeah.
And the security is a 4-person staff security. So,
What was it, contingent upon the certificate?
The certificate of inspection and insurance.
so I'd like to
Move
make a
with
motion.
Move with that.
Well, I wanted to make it official, like,
Okay.
a motion to approve,
Go ahead.
contingent upon certificate of inspection.
And
insurance.
insurance.
Okay.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And Holyoke Community College, 164 Ray Street, September 17th, October 8th, November 12th, December 10th. 14 people, staff, it's beer and wine, 6 to 9 p.m.
Make a motion we approve.
Second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners voted in favor. Waterfront event venue, and this is on September 21st. 100 people, admissions $15. They're gonna sell all alcohol, so what is
It's a
this?
nonprofit event.
It's a nonprofit
Yeah,
event.
it's a
Great.
nonprofit fundraiser. They're like, this is the first, I believe, the first thing for the public. So yeah,
And they're hiring private security.
yes.
It's unclear who the nonprofit is.
Yeah.
No, the event, they stated it was like a nonprofit event, it's a nonprofit fundraiser.
By who?
So it's either a nonprofit or a nonprofit event, but it's, you guys determine
Okay.
that.
But
So-
there's a name of the defining to who the event is, the fundraiser is.
I've never had, I mean, this is the first time you guys asked that because the Holyoke Paper City Food Festival,
It's always attached with a name.
no, it's never attached with the name in the previous applications. For example, the Holyoke Paper Food Festival, it's not a nonprofit entity, but it's a nonprofit event because they donate the money at the end. But
yeah.
you guys have never asked
Right,
me
we went to any
who,
individual one. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
you're
you
right.
guys never asked me,
Okay.
oh, who are
Yes.
they donating to? I
Yes,
don't
you are
know
right.
that.
Okay.
I'm getting old.
But the point being, all proceeds are going to
They're not
some
profiting.
charitable purpose.
Yes,
You
Okay.
got it.
yes,
All right, and that's fine then.
yes. I'm like, wait.
So,
Yeah, so we're
wanna make a
gonna
motion to approve that?
Make a motion to
Contingent
approve, yeah.
insurance.
Contingent upon insurance. Can I get a second?
Second that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners have voted in favor of this. And our final one day is for the Beer Guy LLC, 221 Appleton Street. This is a September 26th event, 4 to 8. Beer and wine sold, 150 to 200 people.
HPD will be on site, sorry.
Oh, HPD on site.
Yeah,
There it
because
is.
he submitted he submitted it like that, and then Joe McGivern reached out because it's Joe McGivern's retirement party, and I guess he donates whatever they get to a charity. He did call me and explain that to me, so I never have an issue with Joe.
Yeah, no, Joe's just been one of the biggest merry-go-round supporters there is,
Yeah.
and he's a retiring probation officer, half the
Yeah.
time. so
Yeah,
it's
I
hard to be
believe
there
he's putting it back at the merry-go-round, he said,
Well,
yeah.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners have voted in favor. Now we're up to open air licenses. 2 of them. Can I take them together?
No, one is temporary, one is annual.
Oh, okay. So first one is Cristina Gonzalez doing business as Camelia's. This is temporary, for dates,
This is the Armor Yard. She's participating in the Armor Yard.
Okay.
She's a new vendor. So this is just giving her permission, because it's out in the open, she requires open air vendor license.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Well, some of them are passed, but.
Yeah, they have passed, but I told her still submit the application because you're still gonna need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So September 2nd, 9th,
Yep.
and September 30th. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. And all three commissioners voted in favor. And then we have Yamil Canales doing business as YJ's Catering. This is an annual,
So times and dates he's gonna be selling varies. He's looking to participate in city events. That's why I put, for address and location, I put city events. He's looking to come cater at events. If we can just approve this contingent to Board of Health, because the business still does not have a Board of Health permit.
And what does he sell?
Food.
Food. Where? Catering.
116
Oh,
High
for heaven's
Street.
sake, okay, yeah. They're doing
Round the
this-
top.
The catering, there's your hint, okay.
And it says it, I don't, no, Anthony, you're skipping.
Oh, I'm ahead of
Yeah,
myself.
this is it.
Oh, yeah, I already put them
Oh,
in.
I didn't think so.
Moving on.
That's why I'm like, you don't, it says food?
Just totally glossing over that.
Right, there's the middle of the bottom.
So, want to make a motion to approve pending Board of Health approval?
Yeah,
Second.
thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners voted in favor. Now we're up to, sorry, I forgot myself.
That's okay.
Entertainment license, Cristina Gonzalez doing business as Camelia's 116 High Street.
So Christina's on the agenda a lot today.
Yeah.
So for the brunch and poetry nights, she has like a DJ. For the ordinance, you require entertainment license. So she submitted one to make sure she's doing everything how she's supposed to.
Move to approve.
Second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners have voted in favor of this entertainment license. Now we're up to old business and, Michael Auto Sales, Gold Star Service, 11 Lincoln Street. And we had a letter from the mayor and, let's see what I have.
A letter from the
Did we get
mayor?
a letter? No, we didn't get a letter. Did we?
That was old.
that
We're
was
here to
old.
discuss the the plan, because
The plan.
supposedly he's not abiding by it.
Yes.
That's what he was called in for.
You were right.
Yeah.
So we had, Counselor is anyone here?
Megan, no. I don't know if the butters are here, but.
She's in?
Mm-mm. You guys are the abutters? Okay, you'll have your chance to speak.
So,
Here, you can have mine.
no, I got everything I need. I just need to organize that for 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, sorry. Here it is. I have the wrong folder.
That was for F. It's just these two for him. The plan and the license.
No, I have a blow up of the plan. Give me 1 second.
Oh. Is it this?
Yeah, but
Which is
I
bigger?
blew it up.
Oh, you can't see this?
No, I had a nice doll.
It has to be in there in this.
Here it is.
Yeah,
I
there
got
it
it.
is. Yeah.
Wrong folder. No, here.
No, it's this, that's the that's the letter from the mayor, but this is the plan that you were looking for.
Right, but it's 11, so there is a recent letter from the mayor.
Oh,
August, yeah.
when was our?
Dear Anthony, I'd like to ask the license board to take swift and aggressive action to remove the visual blight at 11 Lincoln Street. And this is dated August 2nd. We need to make sure properties are appropriately licensed and compliant. I hope that the board will work with the Board of Health and the law department to ensure compliance. This location is a disgrace to Holyoke and an assault on our neighborhood cleanup initiatives. I ask that the board look closely at the conditions. I would think
that the car lot is in violation of certain of the Board of Health property maintenance regulations. I also ask that the board stipulate immediate action on the part of the property owner with a short deadline for completion. Obviously, this is a situation that has been festering for a long time. I share responsibility for allowing this eyesore to go unaddressed. I thank the licensing board and the Board of Health for taking action that could facilitate a solution. So,
So I'm sorry, guys, I completely missed that letter, but I did print out the plan and the license.
do you want to see the letter?
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I thought it came up last.
You
it
just
came up-
read it.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, I just completely forgot to add it.
So, I guess one of the things I wanted to discuss was there was a plan that you submitted to us.
Was that letter sent to me?
No, that
No.
was, a letter sent to us from the mayor's office.
From the mayor's office. Did this come up in 2022? When did this come up where we had the
This-
initial plan submitted?
April, 2022? 2022. Do you have the letter that I sent him? No.
So, I mean, some of the things I want to point out, the plan specifies to remove existing stockade fence and build a new one, 6 feet high. It specifies, when I count, that there's supposed to be 28 spaces for sales, specifies handicap spaces and different things. One thing I recently noticed at the business that I'd never noticed before when you drive by, out in front of your garage bays, there's old washing machines.
Yes.
I've never noticed that before, and I'm just curious about why there's old washing machines outside of a auto repair shop. I'm just curious. Before we address Mr. Lemke, do you guys have anything to add or say?
I mean, my key questions are gonna be, what is their status with the health department right now? Is there anything pending, anything that needs to be addressed? Is there any other city department with whom there's any allegation of a violation of an ordinance? Because that's what their licenses require of all the licensees, is that they obey our ordinances, they obey our Commonwealth statutes and all the laws. So if there's nothing pending with them, and there was previously, so that's having to do with the fencing and the overgrowth and so forth, if that's resolved, that's going to have majority of the impact on my thinking now.
So it was my understanding that Mr. Lemke was invited here because he was not obeying by the condition of his license because it does not follow the plan. So I don't have an update from Board of Health. I know the zoning official is looking into the property. I don't know where they're at, but we're here because he's not following this license that we issue according to the plan. That's what I was told to invite him in for.
And I remember that was the reason we were told to invite him in, was that the license wasn't following the plan.
Okay. That's indicated, and the plan is clearly identified in the license that we issued.
Correct.
Yep. And I
That
do
was the
know
condition.
there was some question about the number of vehicles authorized within this license, but that corresponds to what we see in the plan.
Correct.
And I believe, did you include it, I think it came up at the last meeting, Counselor Meg asked about
The
certain
number of
financial numbers.
cars that were sold.
Did you state that in a letter?
I did state that in the
Okay,
letter.
so we can ask about that.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in. Before we start, and Commissioner Correa, do you have anything that
No.
you'd like to see addressed?
No.
Okay.
So, back to the plan. When we were doing the license, Jose, you can remember that they had to figure out how many cars would fit on a lot. And the board had offered me 60. I don't know if you remember that, but you had offered me 60. And so then they said, well, they would like to see, they'd have to figure it out, because the board wouldn't offer me 60 if they wouldn't fit. So I had a plan made, but the plan wasn't complete, and it was just something that I had. And then, Mr. Chairman, you had said at one of the meetings, well, we gotta figure out how many cars we can have. So I said, well, I can figure out, I know how many it says on this plan. I did not know.
You came with this plan.
I came with that plan so you could count how many spaces. I didn't come with that plan to say, this is my plan, this is what I want to do. You guys took it that. I did not want to submit that. That was only to figure out how many cars were to be on the lot. That's what that plan was for the number of cars, not to be issued with the lines and everything that you made me do since then.
Yeah, so they asked us for something to show where cars could fit, how many could fit. And so that's what that was. It wasn't something that they said, you need to come up with a plot plan for all of everything that's gonna be on the property. So it is what is there, the spots are where they are, but it just wasn't officially like a plot plan of the property, if I'm using the right word, I don't even know, but.
So when you guys came in April 2022, I remember the board issuing 2 90-day temporary licenses, and so he got the lot into compliance. He had lesser numbers in the previous years of vehicles. He came in with this plan, and that's why the board raised the number up to 57. Originally, he didn't have 57 cars on his license.
Yeah.
So the board raised it up. They went by this plan.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, but
you
should have gone by
requested,
the square footage, not the plan.
It changed a lot of times. The car, there was, first it was unlimited, then there were 60, then there were many different numbers on his licenses until we could come up with something over the years. What years they are, I couldn't tell you.
I don't recall,
But it doesn't matter.
before you
You
had,
don't need to
what is it, is it 57 now?
it was 57. It's been 57 for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Before that, it was
yeah.
less than 57.
Way less.
Yeah, but there was a time when it was more than that, is what I'm
I don't-
saying. And it was
I
well
don't know.
before you, yes. This is,
There was 82 cars on the lot.
so but it doesn't,
And how many
doesn't
cars
matter.
there were 82 cars physically on the lot?
Yes.
Yes.
And your license said you could park 82 cars?
No, I didn't, there was no number.
His license
Okay. Well, that's a
originally was
whole,
unlimited.
that's a different
Okay.
story.
Yeah, you're
So
talking
what-
about,
Yes. So
you're
what you
going
have is
few,
you need to
way
go
few
in.
years back. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, so this is what we're going by for the number, where they're supposed to be.
So
And-
that's
and
my
that's fine. We're
recollection
good.
of
Yeah.
the deal, is the
Yes.
plan kind of says what's going on and
Yep.
follow the plan, and we do fine. But now, this was initially, this review in this year, in 2024, was due to Board of Health issues, Mayor's letter following it. And now, I guess the question is, there's been some pushback, some questioning outside of the board about why 57? The plan shows why 57. An architect came in and made a rational layout about, what would make this work. So I think one of the things we discussed about this was just having you in because there may be some questions, there may be some neighbor concerns when the renewal time comes up, which is when we would next be considering should anything be changed. I mean, you've got a license this year, you paid for it, we went through the whole process, it's yours for a year. To the best of my knowledge, you have remedied the issues with the health department. And so I don't think we have a place here to be fooling around with your license now. But when renewal time comes up, if there are petitions, requests, neighbor concerns, we're gonna listen to them, I would think.
But I think if there are some neighbors here today,
There's some,
abutters, we should hear them today.
I think that's
Yes.
fair too, with the understanding that there's really nothing on the table today that would change this license as it exists.
Yeah.
Well, nothing that would change it, but I would say based on, one, the letter from the mayor, which asked us to correct the situation, and two, what
Right.
abutters have to say, I don't know what I'm gonna
Well,
want to propose.
Well, that's fine. And again, if it's a sanction, which is what happens when you change a license midstream, we're gonna have to talk about that. But the other thing is, I specifically, I think, asked that you be told to be here, just so you know, that could be a discussion at renewal time, and we want you to know that in September, not to find out like at the last minute with no heads up whatsoever. You know,
Yeah.
that, because then I will certainly be listening, because I think it's fair game at a license renewal to talk about whether terms are appropriate or not, as it affects everybody in the vicinity where you live. And that's true for every license holder. That's my thinking on it.
Okay.
But I'm perfectly happy to hear residents if they have questions or concerns.
You need to make sure you understand what the license is saying and that you are completely in compliance. Because come renewal time, all this is gonna be scrutinized. And if it's not, then you're gonna end up back in here again. So keep that very clearly in your mind and do whatever needs to be done to make sure that your property is in compliance. Otherwise, we'll be seeing ourselves over and over in here to one point. The inevitable will happen, so.
So I just have a question, and I don't know if it's for here, when we were here the last time, and the woman from the ward and the Board of Health said that, well, there's many complaints, and so we asked if we could get those complaints. So I did request those, and there was not one complaint. The last complaint was in 2022. So I'm not sure what the complaint was that brought us here the last time.
Wasn't it a citation from the Board of Health?
But it was,
Yes,
but she
but
also said it was a
She said
complaint
it
from
was
the
because it was
abutters.
a complaint, and we didn't even know that we were supposed to be fixing that. We just got it in the mail
Right.
and said, okay, you're in violation of what? Because we didn't know that. And that's fine, we fixed it, we took care of it.
Right.
But for me, that didn't sit well. Because if there was a complaint, where was it?
So I can't speak on the Board of Health or the
Yeah.
information they have received. I believe what Counselor Megan was stating, that multiple butters were complaining to her about this property. Not that the Board of Health was receiving complaints. I can look into what you received from the Board of Health just to confirm what you're saying, but I believe the Board of Health, when they sent you the letter, they did cite what you were in violation for.
It just
Yes,
said,
and it was the vegetation.
Correct, so
Yeah.
which was.
you did know
on-
what the violation was.
Right, and there was a miscommunication there because that, we were told was not our property. So that's why we didn't bother with that, which is fine. That didn't sit well
Yeah,
with me.
understood, yeah.
So that was,
Can I ask
my
you,
question.
when you pass by your property, there are numerous washing machines or appliances sitting out. That's not typical for a automotive place to have junked washing machines. What is that?
With our financial situation, which I explained to you in previous meetings, and I don't care to discuss it here, that I take them apart and I take out the valuable parts and then scrap the rest.
And this not a board, is there a way you could have the lot look a little cleaner?
I actually have been addressing that this past week, and you will see a difference in the very next couple of weeks.
Great.
I tried to get it done today, yesterday, but I couldn't do it.
and whether that should or shouldn't it shouldn't be there or should be there.
There's
What am I trying
nothing
to say?
leaking, there's nothing hazardous, it's all metal,
Again, it would
and
be
it's
one of
just the
those,
different metals that are in
if
it.
somebody had said, listen, that stuff, you know, you really shouldn't have it here, then he would have had to address it sooner. Not that, you know, not that I want that to
And as a-
happen, but I'm just
and as a
saying.
Commissioner, I would tell you not to have it here, but I don't think the other commissioners would do that. But from my 1/3 vote, I would like you to clean up the lot. But if they're not gonna,
And I think-
unless two of us agree on something, we're not gonna tell you to do anything.
It's all about how the business looks from the
Yes.
outside, and I have not seen the washers, but I don't think they should have been there either, you know,
Yeah.
that should be cleaned up.
And you
know.
probably didn't see it because there was something
Yeah.
that was in front of it.
Yeah.
So unless you, if you're just driving by.
Yeah,
and
probably
I'm
was not paying
saying that they
attention at
should
that
be-
point in time,
right.
but if
Yeah.
the commissioner says that I have seen it, and I believe
And I'm
him,
not
so.
in disagreement
Yeah.
with that, but.
And again, this just goes back to, you're in a highly visible location. I mean, it is a distressed-looking property, and relations with your neighbors are never gonna be great if you don't make the best effort you can to just try to care about their sensibilities if you're taking care of your property.
And it will be nice to hear because we didn't know that the neighbors had an issue. I mean, we know some of the neighbors.
Well, we have some of them here today.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah,
why I
let's
said
hear
that would
from
be
them.
nice
Let's hear.
to,
So if you guys wanna have a seat and allow the.
There's just one, I would like a vehicle parked in front of the bay door to prevent breaking and theft, because I've been broken into and I've had theft. So I don't know if that's something that comes up for renewal.
The bays
But-
are for repair, correct? So there's not supposed to be anything blocking the bays.
Right, but
Right.
I.
You're talking about
He's
during
talking about
closing-
at night.
You're talking about during closing time.
yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't
So
see
it-
the problem.
Because when they come in to use the air machine, then they're, they're looking around and, they're looking in the windows, and with the truck parked there, then,
And it's still counted, like it's
You're
not
still in a-
extra. It's still, there's still a spot.
It's part of the county,
For
you just
it.
move it there
Yes.
during the
Yes.
closing time, so nobody can get it.
Yes.
So, let's see, I don't see any issue with that.
Would you please come up and speak? Thank you for coming in.
And if you can just please state your name for the record.
My name is Susan Marciniak. I live on Valley Heights. It's appalling how the property looks. The fence was down for about 2 years. The poor neighbors who are directly in back had no blockage, and they looked directly into the junkyard. All the weeds are growing all around the property. It's never taken care of. We have seen trucks in there with trees growing out of them. That may have been cleaned the last time they were asked to clean it up. So it's really, it's appalling to go by there. And the amount of cars has just keeps getting more and more. There is no space for all of these cars there, and we would like to see it go back to our knowledge is it was 40 cars. Now 57, it's deplorable. The building looks terrible, the properties look terrible. The washing machines had the same question, don't understand what they're doing there. And if they are going to be there, put them in the back of the building so that it doesn't have to be seen from the outside when you're driving by. I'm embarrassed to tell people to take a left or a right at the gas station because it looks so nasty. So, and I also think that the abutters should have been told about this meeting. A notice should have been sent. We found out through a counselor, so that's what I have to say.
Miss, if I could just address the abutter, it's not procedure for us to notify abutters. Mr. Lemke is not any exception. These meetings are are public 48 hours prior. For instance, this agenda was posted on Friday, so it's the public, it's up to you to go on the agenda and see who's on the agenda, what matters on the agenda. But it's not, I'm sorry, I know you don't agree with it, and I do apologize for it, but I'm not gonna single Mr. Lemke out and notify abutters when that's not policy nor procedure. So I do apologize.
Yep, if that's
So-
the way it is.
What, when, because I actually thought we were gonna notify the abutters.
Correct, that's what it was. Megan asked that we notify the abutters. Again, if I notify abutters for Lemke, I have to notify abutters for everybody. Why notify abutters for Mr. Lemke? Like, I don't want it to seem like we're targeting him. Like, we can take care of the issue at hand, but that's not normal.
agree.
Megan can let her abutters know, but it's not policy for us to notify abutters.
So I think that is a thing. If we had to do a notification for every single item that appeared on an agenda every single month, it would become a clerical burden that's absolutely impossible to meet. There's a cost to the city. These are certified letters that typically go out. When there is notification, that is because there's some statute that says you got to do it. And that's something we must comply with. But then to expand that beyond, on a case-by-case basis, it just opens up a tremendous can of worms in terms of, just unequal treatment to people. So that would actually be a problem. And, I just would encourage that on the city clerk's website, there's always a calendar, and you can click through and always see the agenda, not just us, but for every board. And it's a state law that we do that. So hopefully that's helpful in some way, so that a network of neighbors can let one another know when something's coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's possible for us to send out notification for all the stuff on our agenda.
And just so you know, when complaints come in, they get read at the next meeting. So there would be nothing from, if you wanted to organize your neighbors, if you felt strong enough about it, to send in complaints and then all attend the meeting. Or when his renewal comes up.
They're more than welcome to come, but even with the renewal coming up, I'm not notifying abutters because I would have to notify abutters for 76 shops.
It'd be a letter to everybody in the city.
So,
I don't have a problem with that. I think we are the abutters, and the rest of the neighborhood is, we're all in the same, dealing with the same problem, because everybody has to go up and down the street, and it's right, it's an eyesore. And not only that, but the building itself, I've had shingles from the roof flying over to my yard. If you look at the building itself, the roof it's got to be leaking all over the place, because there's hardly any shingles left. There's big holes. And the other thing is, if you look at the cars, yes, there are a few cars that could be for sale, but most of them, I think, are just storage for junk. Because if you walk through, or I don't go on his property, but I can see right from the sidewalk that there's cars there that are really basically ready for a junkyard. I mean, it would just be too expensive probably to repair these and sell them. And I'm sure that he does have a few cars for sale, but it can't be every 40 or whatever amount that they require, that they're allowed to have on their property. It looks like a storage junkyard to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other people that go by. So that's my problem. I'd like to see it fixed up, and if it's going to be cars for sale, have them looking like they're ready for sale. Not flat tires, not big dents in the back. It looks just terrible. I'm sorry to say.
Thank you. And did you state your name?
Richard Krasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Krasinski. And I have to tell you, I actually agree with him that it looks more like a I have to tell you, it looks more. Can I speak first?
Sorry, yes.
That your business does not resemble a sales lot. It resembles a salvage yard, and that is an issue for me. And I turn it over to the other commissioners to do something about it. Right, the license is for a used car dealership, and yet it looks like a salvage yard.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming tonight.
I just want to address that, because the cars that are on the lot are all cars that are put together. They may have a dent, they might have a tire that's flat, but that's all the stuff you have to fix in order to sell the car. So a salvage yard is something where the cars are not, they're in pieces. And then he's taken this part off to sell to this person. That's not what it is, and in my opinion, that's not what it looks like. All the cars are full cars.
So the one thing, and this is statutory compliance, and I think we did talk about this a couple of years ago, you're supposed to have an inventory, a written inventory of all the cars and when you took them in and their VIN numbers. And that's a tracking thing, but mostly to make sure you're not selling stolen cars.
Correct.
That should, in number, match what you've got, and that should show us from time to time how your inventory is turning over. It would probably be helpful to us at an appropriate time, not tonight, to know that that exists and, you know, maybe check in with the office, provide copies, because you need to follow that rule anyway. And that would be a partial answer to what we're talking about here.
See if the cars are moving.
Yeah, if the car's thoroughly junked and there's never sold, and there's never any turnover.
Correct.
And, you know, we could see that by just seeing how long it's been on that list. So that would be helpful to us.
So back to my neighbors, you know, he wants everything fixed, and financially, it's nice to be able to go to, it's nice to be able to go to work and then make money and then turn around and fix things. But financially, he doesn't know our situation, okay? We explained it to the board and we're fighting through it, okay? I know things, I would love to, I mean, my neighbor just had a roof put on his house, you know, and he spent $20,000. I would love to have $20,000 to have a roof put on. Is there holes in it? There's holes in the canopy, which, you know, comes down inside, but not inside the building. But, you know, I mean, I would love to have plenty of money in my pocket to be able to do what you guys are asking me to do. I can take one car that's been vandalized, where the catalytic converter is gone and the battery's gone and it's got a broken window. I can take that when I have it financially set, and then I can put it back together, and it's not a junk car because it's worth money. I bought and paid for those cars, okay? And when you took them all away from me years ago, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars that I lost because I never, okay,
We're
yep.
where we are
I know.
now. We're good.
So,
thank you.
And just to address like the shingles and that, like if it storms, maybe it, you know, it's possible that piece of the shingle could fly off. I mean, I don't think
I
that everything is going in
I
the
don't know where he
driveway.
lives, but I can't see one of my shingles going that far.
Yeah, we
we're
don't
not-
wanna
yeah, we're
put
not
any
trying to-
animosity towards anybody, because you guys are still
We would
neighbors.
love
We
to
are here
work with the
to
neighbors.
discuss the license.
Yeah.
There's other building of, you know, city officials who handle the roof and the building, so you might have bigger issues in the future besides this license, if your you know, if the roof has holes and things like that, but we are here to discuss the lot and the license, so.
And I know the other commissioners don't agree with me on this, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be your neighbor.
Okay.
And I would be embarrassed a
Well,
little bit.
just tell me what you want me to do, and we'll go
But
from
we
there.
have to
We'll
do it
make a plan.
as a board. I would like to see your lot cleaner.
Okay.
I would like to see, you know, your neighbors be able to drive by it and not kind of want to turn the other way because it looks terrible. But unless the commission takes action, there's really, what I say doesn't matter.
I mean, I understand that, but they, you know, the cars are, they're in a space. They're aligned here, they're aligned here, they're aligned in the front, exactly where they're supposed to be. I'm not sure why, you know, that would look, what difference that would make. Okay, your washing machines, yes, if that's something that they're seeing, that might be an eyesore. But I don't understand how the cars, when they're put and parked, are considered an eyesore.
So the chair is right. I don't believe there's going to be any action taken this evening. But I'm glad you had an opportunity to hear your neighbors and hear what their concerns are. I hope you reflect on them. I hope you be responsive to them within your means. And I know that's a serious challenge. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is about trying to find a way so that the kinds of descriptions you're hearing just aren't the case anymore,
Right.
to the best of your ability. That's, I think, the best outcome that can come out of tonight. But then, you know, do be aware, we're gonna take some requests very seriously at renewal time, when there are what we deem to be reasonable suggestions about adjustments to try to resolve issues the neighbors are having.
Yeah.
So it's
And-
just mostly, so you're not
Right,
surprised.
information,
That wouldn't
yep.
be fair.
And the fence was fixed. Like, they didn't, the Board of Health didn't tell us we had to fix it. I mean, that wasn't on the list, but it was brought up,
So,
so
with,
we fixed the fence.
yeah, as far as the fence, the Board of Health didn't want to ticket you on it as yard debris.
Right.
Because they wanted you to put the fence back so your neighbors wouldn't have to look
Right,
at the
that's what I'm
cars.
saying.
So that's,
And they did.
but that's why they
Yes.
didn't act on the fence, was because they really wanted you to fix it. Because if the way the fence looked, they could have ticketed you as it being basically trash, because it was just falling apart. So they didn't, because they didn't want you to just take it away, they wanted you to repair it. So,
Right,
just to
which,
be clear on that.
right, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, when they sent, like, if something is out of the ordinary and it needs to be fixed, sometimes maybe we're not aware of that. So those letters that they used to send to tell you, this is the issues, you have this much time to fix it. I mean, and it shouldn't matter.
I mean, in an ideal, there are businesses in the city that don't get any tickets from the city because their shops are impeccable. There's even one, Mendel, there's one downtown, it looks amazing, it's around where the road, Mendel. I mean, that shop looks, I mean, it looks like you can eat off the pavement. It's such an amazing looking shop. So you shouldn't rely on the city to tell you there's something wrong.
That's not what that wasn't what I was saying. I guess I'm not making
It's okay.
my point, but it's fine.
I guess we're done.
I think we should move on. We've got
Thank you
other
for
people.
coming in.
Thank
Thank you, we really appreciate you coming in. Please, if things happen, please let us keep the department informed. Thank you. Now we're on to, wait, I lost my,
New business?
we're almost done. K Auto Sales Complaint, okay, let me organize. Thank you for waiting, sorry, this is a long meeting for us.
I get it.
Sorry
and
about that.
And I'm on the Chicopee board, so I understand what you have to do, and you do it quite well.
Thank you.
You gotta kinda deal with a lot of different expressions, anger, it's all there.
Appreciate it. Before we get started, because are you a counsel?
I'm a counsel, yes. I'm Anthony Gallant, I'm counsel.
Very good. So I always disclose when Mr. Quendo comes in, it was over 12 years ago now, but I at one time represented Mr. Quendo. I don't perceive this as a conflict, but I always give Mr. Quendo or his counsel the option that I will recuse
Nope.
if my prior business relationship would be an
No,
issue.
we don't have a
Okay.
problem with that.
So Mr. Kendall was invited to today's meeting because the license board received a complaint July 23rd. The complaint, you guys received the email. I sent it in the complaint letter.
Yes.
I have it.
So they do have a copy of it. I told the person who complained that I will forward over to the board. And she was invited here today, but she also works in the city of Chicopee. So I'm not sure if she had a meeting, but she was invited here tonight as well. She provided a lot of documents to her complaint.
What documents did she provide to you, if I can ask?
Just some receipts for our records, but your client got the complaint, which that's what I have to forward over to
Okay.
him.
Yeah, the things filed were just basically showing us that she
Yep.
made cash payments.
Yep, that's fine.
Like through
Cash App?
Cash.app. cash out.
Right, to whoever the mechanics are that worked on the vehicle.
Was it supposed to be other? Oh,
Is
because,
this, it's just receipts, things from the other dealership, evidence to her complaint, basically.
so, do you guys, can you give us
Yeah.
your side of what's going on with this
Couple
customer?
things, she made a complaint about the car that you read in your letter. Here's the facts are this, though. I read her letter. She didn't buy the car in January of 2024. She actually bought it in November of 2023. The only part of that car that actually broke between that time and December 6th was a serpentine belt and tensioner, which he had repaired with his guy. And he actually has the receipt and the date to prove it on his phone if anybody wants to see it. So as of December 6th, that was the last time he heard from her with any problem with the car. Purchased in November of 2023. It had 152,000 miles on it when she purchased it. So the only time he heard about any problem, this problem, was July 1, 7 months later after she had the car. So there's no lemon law because it's well over 125,000 miles. She drove it for over 5,000 miles. And then she contacted him for the first time on July 1 with all the problems that you have stated in front of you. She contacted him with the list saying the fuel pump was going. He didn't undertake anything to repair it. He sent her off to another mechanic that might be able to do it cheaper. There's no way. She made it like an association, almost an assumption like this is your buddy. It's not. It's another licensed mechanic. Go there if you want to save money, or you can go to the dealership and spend a lot of money. It's up to you. She went to that dealer, and that's what you've got in front of you. She brought it to KLM after, but our point is, you drove the car for 5,000 miles. After you had purchased it, you made one complaint within the 3 or 4 weeks, within the 30 days. He fixed it. Then you had it inspected. It passed inspection. You drove it for 7 months, added 5,000 miles onto it. Now when another thing goes, it's his fault?
724, she got this report.
If she has a problem, the forum is the Holyoke District Court or the Chicopee District Court. She can go in small claims. This is not the proper forum for her to make aspersions and cast accusations and have them come here to have to deal with it. Because I have no right to discovery. I'd love to talk to the KLM people. He has a number of mechanics, we told, they would love to be involved in this case. They would love to come forward and testify, including a BMW mechanic that actually is the one that changed the tensioner and the serpentine belt on December 6th. So
December 6th of
December
what?
6th of 2023.
But you said that she didn't reach out to Mr. Kendall
Till
until
July
July 1st.
1
So how did
of-
she get that fixed if she didn't reach out to him until July? This doesn't
Because she
make
bought the
sense.
car in 2023.
Right,
And then complained of a problem with the serpentine belt.
okay.
He had it looked at by his guy at the BMW. They said, yes, the serpentine belt, he said, and the tensioner's not bad.
Okay.
So he said, okay, change both. So change the tensioner, change the serpentine belt. That was done on December 6th and got her car back to her.
Got it,
So from
okay.
that day till July 1, he heard nothing from her. Her letter says she purchased it in January of 2024. That's not true.
Well, she's
before
2
you-
months off.
But that's, you said just so I was just curious, you said you had you could show us a
Yeah.
copy.
Yep.
It's just kind of, we're just following, just due diligence.
Yeah.
I believe you, it's just due diligence.
No, and that's, there's other little things on there to show.
Yeah, can you, I don't want to play with your phone.
The date and stuff from what I did to the car.
12/6/23, okay.
So
Yep.
7 months later.
7 months later,
Do you
when
wanna
he
see this or
first
not?
heard about it.
No, if you're good.
Yeah, it says
Take your
12/6/23.
word.
The
And
only
so
problem-
this is from your invoicing system?
Yep.
This is long.
That's from that company. That's not his invoice. That's the company of the BMW mechanic that he hired to do it.
Is that on Riverdale Road, Riverdale Street?
No, that's BMW, that's when she drove it in July.
Mm.
Like, one of her documents that she had submitted
So
shows
wait,
it's got in,
what's this date, 12/6/23? That's when she bought it, right?
No, she bought it in
that's the
November.
date it was
Oh, she
fixed.
bought it in November. Oh, okay. I thought, do you have the receipt for when she bought it? That's what I was curious about.
Bill sale.
Huh?
Bill sale.
Yeah, the bill of sale. I just wanted to see that the dates conflict with hers. Do you have that or no?
No, I don't have it with me, but I have it in my office.
It's at the-
I always keep copies of front and back of the title and the
Okay.
bill sale and everything.
I was just,
But that's when we looked at it, as like, if she had any issue, she could have gone, and she threatened him with one of the things, I'll go to court. And it's like, okay, go to court. Because then you can present all your evidence, say, lay it out. I can do discovery and go, well, wait a minute. You bought the car, you complained about the serpentine belt. He fixed it, got it back to you. You had it inspected in December, you got it passed, and then you drove it. And you didn't have any problems until, well, you didn't notify him about problems until July 1. At what point is he not responsible for your car that has now, it's got 157,000 miles on it?
And just to let you know, you're like, right, she does have to go to small claims court, and she was told that, but if we get a complaint, we have to follow up, so we're just
Understood.
doing our job, that's it,
Understood.
okay?
Oh, I'm
So-
not yelling at you. I'm
No,
just-
I know,
Oh,
I know.
we're not taking it that way.
But, you know, we got a complaint and we have to follow
Follow
up,
through.
you know, that's all.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
I don't know
and
what you
without,
guys want
I
to do.
mean,
No, I think
We were
this is
here
great
in
that you guys came in, and I mean, if someone takes the time to file a complaint, they really should also follow through and come in. That takes away from them that,
And for our benefit, because the last time we saw Mr. Aquendo, it was
About a
with
year and a half ago.
heated state police officer
Yes.
who had a pending matter in a court. And so here we have no evidentiary standards to work with whatsoever. We're just hearing from people about things. And meanwhile, there was gonna be a resolution to that case one way or another.
Yep.
And I assume there has been by this time. And we don't, and it's not even before us right now.
No, and the other
we
thing
don't
is you
even know-
guys
and we don't
had a
even know-
year and
we
a
don't
half.
even
There
hear
were
about- we have no
6
idea.
things he was supposed to do, and he did all of them. You had him change the name of his company, he had to put new signs up, did it all. Cameras, doors, move vehicles, he did everything. And even the state cop came and said, gave him some ideas on how to even manage the documents inside the office.
What you was
He
asking
did
about the
that.
used car book, so now it's electronic, we do it.
So he's complied with everything, all the ideas that were just better ideas, and the required things, he did everything.
he has, but you're still parking on the street.
I did, I took them out, as soon as I got
Good,
it
so
out. I
please,
took them
like,
right out.
He's supposed to do it. He's supposed to talk
that's
to
it,
you.
but, you know,
Supposed to
that's the only thing, I did see the
Soon as I
name
see that little
change,
sticky paper,
but
I
I
moved them right
just
out.
made a little sticky, and I said, please stop, because I don't want you to get in trouble.
I did, I took
That's
them right
it,
out. If
you
you
know,
go by
so-
there, you don't see them no more. I took them
Yeah,
right out.
that's it.
And I think that's the point I'm getting to. You know, whatever the resolution was with that, it's ancient history and nobody ever
Yeah.
came back afterwards, so we've had no reason to raise further concerns.
Yep.
Here, I think the point is very well taken. She's got a long time left in the statute of limitations if she wants to go make something of it. And she should do what she thinks is best, and whatever the outcome is, if she want to come forward and say, look at this judgment
Right.
Yes.
that I got out of the
I agree
district
with you.
court in a properly adjudicated hearing,
Then you got
we
something.
might very well be talking about a
Correct.
sanction here. So the progressive discipline could clean up a problematic shop. Right now, I think I've been satisfactorily informed that she did honor the lemon law, and that there's probably not much luck to be had if she wants to file the small claim. But, you know, that is another opportunity consumers can have, is to come to us after they've had their hearing, so that we can consider whether this is an appropriate licensee or not. We're not even close to there right now, in my opinion.
That's an interesting point you brought, is about the lemon law. Under the law, the car has over 125,000 miles. She has no claim whatsoever on that.
that's,
But
It's
because he
inspection
recognizes it's good business to not have someone walk around and going, he's a shyster, so she brings it back, even though he has no obligation, to get it to another guy and go, replace the serpentine belt. And the guy says, well, your tension is a little, well, you know what, then fine, do that too, do it, and hand her back the car at his cost. And then 7 months later, I'm like, that's just good business, he didn't have to do it. He's got people trying to talk him out of doing that, but he knows that's good business.
Yeah.
That's good to do that. And he sells, you move hundreds of cars a year.
Been there for 28 years.
And
I
so it's
move
like-
over 400 cars a year.
So that's why I look at that when we got it, it's just like, man, if she has any issues.
The thing is, I gave all my customers 30 days, even if they don't have the warranty, but just have a peace of mind. I give every one of them 30 days. I don't have to by law. Anything over 124,000 miles, 999, it's just warranty only for inspection. You go get your car inspected, it passes inspection, I'm off the hook. But I still give you 30 days. If you have any problem with it on 30, come back and see me, I'll take care of it. If I can't take care of it, I'll give you your money back. I just don't want you to go out there and say, oh, well, he sold me a bad car.
And we've had that.
We live in Holyoke, I've been in Holyoke all my life, so why would I want to do that? You know what I mean? You could look at my reviews on Facebook, all Marketplace, all 5 stars. You know what I mean? No complaints.
So, I'm good.
oh yeah, there's nothing,
Yeah.
thank you for coming in, and.
seeing you soon.
And
renewals.
waiting all this
For
time.
renewals.
Appreciate that too.
No,
There's
I
not
hear,
issues,
and I'm reminded
so-
of the
Thank you.
different, you guys do quite well. Some of the people that are really heated and calming them down, and some people that aren't heated enough and getting information out of them. I do zoning for Chicopee, so I get what you're saying, like, some things I can't do that. People come in and they ask you for magic, and they say, well, I want this done. I can't do that. It's, you know, it's-
Yeah, we've
Love to.
We have a purview, not omnipotence.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, yeah.
Well,
All right.
thank
Uh,
you.
we-
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
We're all minutes, right.
So now we're on to, right,
We already just, yeah. So I put Juvenville Package Store on the agenda, sorry, because Juvenville, was approved by the ABCC, so they were at 390 Main Street, now they're at 392 Main Street, so the state approved it. I just wanted to inform the board.
Will they open up?
I
No, you
believe so, I told her she can open up the same day I gave her her license, so. She has her building inspection and everything, so I issued her the license.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
And next we have approval of minutes, are we okay?
Move to approve.
approving?
Second that.
What, I gotta read the dates.
Ah, go ahead.
April sixth, 22, December 7th, 22, December 20th, 22, February 1st, 23, and May 3rd, 23. Move to approve. All those in favor? Second
Aye.
that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. And just keep in mind, so there was a July one we sent, that's gonna be on next month's.
That's-
It wasn't on the agenda.
We are good. And
But it is
actually,
complete.
yeah, the language is 3 months. It is not an automatic problem if it's not the very next month. That's okay.
Yeah, I just don't want any issues with that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
put it behind me. So July's done. I need August, both meetings in August. But
No, this
we're
is
good.
tremendous progress. You know, it's behind us. It's good.
But it's also about it being created, not necessarily approved, right? Isn't it more, like it has to be created by a certain time? Is there a directive on when
I'd
it
have
has
to
to be
go
approved?
back and look at the language. In the training, they're just really clear. It should be as soon as possible. If it's more than 3 months, they're gonna look at it as a problem. That's how they frame it. There is some specific language, but I couldn't quote it to you from memory, and honest to God, it's 7:30.
But that's okay, because that's all behind us.
Right.
Next
So-
meeting, October 2nd?
So the first Wednesday of October falls October 2nd. That should be a busy meeting because we have Paper City Food Festival. We got the Day of the Yolk, and now they're doing a Taste of Holyoke. So there's a few things going on.
So Holyoke coming back.
Yeah, October 19th. So if everybody submits their application online, it'll be a lengthy agenda. As of right now, I don't have a location, but I'm hoping it will be here. But I'll confirm if it's available, it'll be here, but I'll let you guys know.
So the only thing I don't like about this place is these
lights.
lights make it so hard
And they
to
seem
see.
like
It's
they
a
have
theater
brighter
setup.
during
It's a
the
theater
evening.
setup, Sally.
They
You're
seem
not
brighter
supposed
than
to
when
see
we
the
started.
audience.
Yeah, I can see fine.
I think
I
that's
see
our
them.
eyes.
Yeah.
They just seem, as it was going on, it was getting harder to read stuff. I swear.
It's a theater.
Yeah, that is is it. You know,
The
we're on
lights are
stage.
supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So, we're ready to adjourn? There's no new business? No
Nothing
items
new.
not anticipated?
Move to adjourn.
Second that.
So, want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for September 4th at 7:26 PM? Get a
Second
second?
that, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.